Why did Jesus' disciples, who spoke Hebrew in the temple and the synagogues, and spoke Aramaic in the streets, and spoke Greek in international commerce, why did they write the New Testament in Greek? Well, just like Jesus, who spoke Hebrew and Aramaic and Greek, and we did cover that in a previous live stream, that Jesus actually did speak these languages. Just like Jesus, his disciples likely spoke Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. And there's an example in Deuteronomy 7, verses 3 and 4. It says, "You shall not intermarry with them, giving your daughters to their sons, or taking their daughters for your sons. For they will turn away your sons from following me, to serve other gods. The anger of the Lord would be kindled against you, and he would destroy you quickly." So in the 7th chapter of Deuteronomy, he emphasizes the fact of not only not making treaties, but avoiding intermarriage and not adopting religious practices of the surrounding nations. The purpose, as stated in this text, is that they are the Israelites are to maintain loyalty to God and to prevent them from being led astray by foreign influences. Now, there's nowhere in the Old Testament where it talks about them not sitting and eating or not associating or doing other things with foreign nations. In other words, you can still work with foreigners. You can still do things with foreigners. You just can't go to the point of intermarrying and being with them. That's what's going to drag you down. And so what happened in the Old Testament is they did start doing this. They did start getting led astray by these other cultures. And pretty much these other cultures that were around them, their worship of their gods became a part of Israel's life. And it got so bad that God said, listen, I can't even be involved in this anymore because you're attributing the stuff that I do to what these idols are doing. You're saying that all the good stuff and the blessings that I'm giving you are from these other idols. So I can't allow this anymore. And eventually he allowed other nations to take them over, to usurp Israel, to conquer first the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, and they were led out into captivity. So you had then Pharisees that were the Jewish leaders in Jesus' time abhorred any kind of cultural diversity because of the problems that this had happened in the past. So they had a really good reason to do this. And they said, we're not going to repeat that mistake again. So they took passages like what we saw in Deuteronomy, and they set a wider boundary around it. They made a safety zones. They said that if God said, don't intermarry with them, we're going to say, don't even do anything more. We're going to make it even more strict. Don't intermarry with them. Don't even eat with them. Don't associate with them. Stay away. Consider them unclean, just like you would unclean food. Because if you start, interacting with them, pretty soon you're going to be eating the same food that they are, and we can't. We have to maintain our dietary restrictions and all other things. So they took a passage like this and pushed it back, made more room around it to say that, hey, you can't even do other things that God really did allow. Now, these were the rules of men that Jesus spoke of, and that Paul spoke of in some of his epistles too, to say that these are things these were extra laws that were not set up by God, but these are laws of men. Yeah, probably put in there for a good reason to do this. It's like you have a safety zone to say, you tell your kids, hey, don't go anywhere near the stove. Your little children, don't go anywhere near the stove. Pretty soon you're saying, don't even go in the kitchen. Well, the kitchen's probably fine, but you just have to keep them away from the stove. The Mosaic Law, the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible contain no specific prohibition against sharing meals with foreigners or with non-Jews. But in practice, separating Jews in certain aspects of daily life, including meals, was a way to preserve Jewish identity and religious purity. Now, does it make any sense then that Jewish disciples, even though that they spoke the foreign language of Greek, that they would write their holy scriptures in a language and culture they felt was invading and corrupting their way of life? And I would say most definitely yes. And the reasons are twofold. One, because of this guy. He was Alexander the Great, and he conquered in the 4th century BC new lands to the east, which included the area of Israel and all the way out to modern day India. He conquered these huge territories, and with that, he brought the Greek culture with him, and that was called Hellenization, the spread of Greek thinking and language. And as people adopted Greek thinking and living, they also learned this new language he brought with him. It became the language of commerce and international trade, because all these foreign nations that were formerly separate then have this common means to be able to communicate with each other. And it was actually a pretty good thing. Greek language became the lingua franca of the time. And so we talked about this before when we talked about the Greek language being special. You have in the spread of Greece, and you can see this sort of pink color come across, and that was the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great. It spread through such a large area, and if you see, this is also what became part of the Roman Empire. So when the Roman Empire took that land, the Greek language was still around. In the East, they spoke Greek, and in the West, they spoke Latin as a common language. They still spoke their individual languages in their individual countries, but just like English today is more of a universal language, it was for them on the eastern side of the Roman Empire. So that was because of one guy. They wrote the Greek New Testament because of this one guy. And by the way, they may not realize that they were writing scripture. They were just getting a message out there. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul, and other apostles and disciples would put this out as a language because they wanted to be able to communicate to the world that they were in. Why did they do that? Why were they still Jewish people? Why didn't they just say, listen, you're going to start doing our religion. You should start speaking our language. Well, it was because of another guy. Yep, that one. And Jesus came and said to them, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded to you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age. Luke 24:50 and 53. Because Jesus said, go out to all nations, from Judea, which is where their homeland was, to Samaria, which was kind of Jewish, kind of not. It's a mixed race situation that they were to avoid. He says, these people that you were avoiding before, you go out to them with this message. From Jerusalem to Judea to Samaria to the outermost parts of the world. And to be able to take that message out, they couldn't do that in Hebrew or Aramaic. They had to choose a language that was more universal. So then, because of that, we get to see the spread of Christianity. Now, this is a pretty cool map. It's going to show you how Christianity spread over time. It has the date over here in the upper left-hand corner. And the red shows the Roman Empire at the time. It's going to show, as this map progresses, it's going to show colors for other empires and other nations that grew, and also where Christianity grows. Christianity starts in the Eastern Mediterranean, and because of Greek, it was able to spread far and fast. And then once it hits these other areas, it's also translated into Latin and other languages as well. And then it continues to spread. Now, this map I'm going to show you, it's a GIF, so it goes quickly, and it will show the spread not only to the end of the Roman Empire, and then you have the Byzantine Empire. This goes through. In the Byzantine Empire, they spoke Greek there. It continues to go over time. My focus here is just to show the spread of Christianity during the Roman Empire, but you know what? This is kind of fun. We're going to let it spread afterwards, and then we're going to take a look at any kind of comments that we have from you guys. I'm going to start this map, and we'll see where it goes from there. Remember, we have the white. There's the white starting to spread. Wow. Just explodes. And then the Roman Empire has some problems. And then when the Western Roman Empire falls, the Eastern is still there. And then you have something else pop up that starts pushing back the green from Islam. And the Mongols. So I'm going to take a look at the comments section here. Wow, we have a lot of comments that have come up. I'm going to pop this one up. Sorry, it takes me a moment just to read through them and make sure it's okay for me to pop up. He says, do the 2K years, the 2,000 years of the Greek Orthodoxy, and see how it spread around the world next. Yeah, that would be interesting to see the different main churches, how they participated in the spread of Christianity. We could also look at how English, the impact of English through the British Empire. Okay, so we have the spread going through. The Mongols come through, but then they don't last very long. We're through the Middle Ages, come out through the Reformation and the Renaissance. Christianity being spread through exploration and missionary work. In the present day, and there's Soviet Russia, and then not. Okay, if you like this material, please like, share, and subscribe. We have had a lot of material come out recently. We did the movie The Shift yesterday, and I thought that was really good. If you guys have a chance to see that, that was fantastic. It does help tremendously to have you like, subscribe in the comments that we have, both during the live chats and then afterwards. As we continue to go through this, this is one way that you guys can help with this channel to get this out here. For next week, we are going to be going over The Hobbit and talk about that. We're going to be doing Tolkien Week all next week, and the reason for this is the 20th anniversary, I think, of The Return of the King is coming out. Is going to be in a couple weeks, and we're going to take a look at this. And the Fellowship of the Ring, the Lord of the Rings. We're going to go through all three major movies, including The Hobbit at one shot. And next Friday, we're going to look at the theology of Tolkien. So again, thank you for your participation, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy your rest of your day.